So, welcome to the part 2 of the interview with Annabelle Wimmer Bakic.
Bakic.
Bakic?
Bakic.
I got it backwards.
Doesn't matter.
I was like, I'm so proud of myself. I got it backwards. Okay, Bakic. Annabelle Wimmer Bakic. There we go. Please look her up. Annabelle.world is her platform online on the interwebs. Now let's get started because this is a really big topic. It's extremely fascinating. It's become increasingly more popular in the last few years. At Magic is Key, we've also done some trailblazing, bringing it into the English language in an all-encompassing way. So it's extremely exciting for us to speak with Annabelle about this topic today, because she's sharing it for the first time in the English language too. And what it's called in German, you may or may not have heard it, the Rauhnächte. And I'll briefly share how we've translated it so far, because I think that conveys the feeling in English to you, what these nights are all about. They're the mysteries of the wild nights. They span actually 25 nights in total. It's almost a month of experience if you include the first part, the locking nights, then the winter solstice, the darkest, longest night, followed by 12 Rauhnächte. Rough nights would be the exact translation, but we don't find this accurate at all. And these wild nights, these mysterious, rough, potent, magically visionary, intention-setting nights, they affect the whole year ahead. It's a time of magic, of Raunen, which is a word that also encompasses what the runes are, like the spoken word of magic, but also you mentioned Raunen. Now you help me out. So it's not just speaking words, it's also...
It's kind of murmuring. Speaking, murmuring, and it bounds magic energies in the language and transfers the energies to somebody in a situation.
Yes, so that's for the whole year ahead, right? In those 12 nights. There's also an element of plant magic, ancestral magic, and connections to the Fates, the Norns, and ancient Germanic, Celtic goddess that is in English actually quite known at this point, Frau Holle, or in Danish, Hyndemor, but she's also connected to a plant. Mm-hmm. So the topic is, we discuss it. We're going to do our best to really bring it down and refine it for you over the course of the next 20 minutes or so. But this is really a subject we could spend days on it. So let's get started. Maybe to start with, you want to just share your vision. Like, what's the most important element of the Rauhnächte, of the mysteries of the wild nights?
I would say it's a time where we really connect to ourselves, to our inner nature. And our inner nature is full of light, full of power for our lives, and full of wisdom. And so it's a time, we say the time between the years, so between the sun calendar and the moon calendar. It's a timeless time where we are unbound and we are not bound to our social conditions. And so that's a perfect time to enlighten our inner worlds and to understand where we are beyond time and space, and to let the old year go, to clean things, to say thank you, and to take the powers of the last year, to integrate them in our heart, then to open the field and let imagination, wisdom, and visions flow in, coming in, and then to focus on New Year and to work with the intention to manifest and materialize the things we need, we love to have, or whatever. So it's a time full of power, full of magic, full of possibilities and connection to ourselves.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned something really important, the time stands still.
Yeah.
So there's a liminality to this time of the year. And I mean, those of you who work, will already do rituals or practice magic. When we open the field or cast a circle or whatever we do, we are entering liminal space consciously, which is the place where we work magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We open the borders of, in German, we say diesseits and jenseits.
Mm.
So our world and the other worlds. And that's a big field of knowledge we open for ourselves. And so we can work with ancestors, we can work with the totems, we can work with the powers of nature, with stones, with the stars, with everything. And so this gives us also the whole potential of creation. That's really a magic time.
Yeah. And it's available to anyone because it's just the time of year opens the diesseits and the jenseits, opens the liminal realm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I'm getting so excited. So one big aspect also, or actually let's go into another term for the wild nights, which we spoke about earlier, which is that they're also known as the wolf nights. And you spoke of this coming into your own essence, the truth of who you are, the inner light. And this definitely connects with the wolf, that term.
Yes.
Yes. So would you share more about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The wolf is the totem of self-empowerment. And so it brings us the power of wilderness. And the power of wilderness means that we can grow beyond our borders and boundaries. And wolves are also animals. They're very delicate. They live in a very delicate clan structures. And so it's not a wilderness that makes everything wild. It's a wilderness that opens the field and lets the light energies flow. And that's the power of the wolf. And in former times, of course, the people that were afraid of this time in the year because it was the darkest time, the coldest time. And so they stay at home, they stay together in the clan or in the families. So there was light and there was the darkness. And those two polarities, I would say that's the light structure of these Rauhnächte. But this is very nice because with black and white and all the light in between, you have all the colors of life. They show up. And the wolf can connect you to all the lights, all the powerful energies you you need, and you, entdecken. Discovering
Yes.
you. And that we need for a new year. It's a good starting point. This self-empowerment from the essence, from the center to the periphery.
Yeah, so you rediscovered that or discovered it anew. I like that you said new. You discover anew. And that ties in also to the potency of the winter solstice, which is a birth, a rebirth.
Yeah, it's a rebirth.
Yeah.
The rebirth of the new sun, the rebirth of nature. And this is an absolute important day also in shamanism. And so I personally started the working for the Raunächte to the 21st, so to the winter solstice. And that's the gate through this time. And so I use this night for the whole structure, for this 12 holy nights. Mm-hmm. And it's the starting point for me.
You begin on the 21st.
Yes.
So a lot of we're in the Christianized world, they begin later, 3 days later, I think. So they end on the 6th.
Yeah.
But beginning on the 21st means you end on the 3rd?
Yes. I'm starting on the 21st, but I started counting the 12 nights from Christmas Eve.
Okay.
And then the last day, it's the night of the 5th to the 6th. So that's the Dreikönigstag.
Mm-hmm.
And this is also not count, but I'm bounding everything together. This is the night where I'm mostly doing an amulet or something to combine all this work and close the gate.
Okay. And this amulet you carry forward through the next year?
I use this. I'm not carrying this, but it's at home. I have a special place for this amulet.
Okay. So I'll offer at this point a little context because some of you might not be familiar with the practice. So traditionally, I think it's beautiful also 3 nights rest because birth can be really intense. And to then start with the 12 nights, that makes absolute sense. For those of you who don't know, do you know while you were talking, because we've been trying to figure out the word, and Nächte is very hard in English, and Mysteries of the Wild Nights can never be an accurate translation. So maybe Rauhnächte. Rauhnächte.
Yeah.
That would be one to speak or one that's easy to pronounce as well. But so what happens is those 12 days, the first day is connected to January of the coming year. The second day or night, say night.
Yeah.
The second night is February. The third is March and so forth. So each night, each of the 12 nights, you're working with 1 month of the year ahead, setting intention, visioning, raunen, so murmuring, speaking the magic for manifestation, or whatever it is you want to bring into reality. So when you close the 12 nights, you're really bundling the energy and the power, I suppose, you built for the year ahead. You're bundling all this intention, visioning, and deep work. That brings me to my next question, because you spoke about, first of all, the roots of the Rauhnächte, or Raunites. Let's test it out. That this goes back a lot further than, you can find. That there's really an ancient history there that is not just particular to the German-speaking Alps, where it's the most popular, but really to all of Central Europe.
Yeah.
And maybe as you share some of that, the origin of the Raunächte, you can also share, why has it survived so long? Why is it so important also today, just the way it was in the past?
I think the origins of the Rauhnächte we find in the Neolithic period, so 7,000 before Christ, and that's a time where the people starts to settle down. And this was a very hard time. It was a time of unsecureness, and societies changed a lot from the hunter societies to big clans. And there was in Europe also a small ice age, so the weather was very bad. And also hierarchic and patriarchal systems started. So all societies were flowing, trying to find new possibilities, how to live together. Also, a lot of people on one space, and it was also a time with a lot of fight and war for the best settlements, of course. And these times, and we also have nowadays, or these times where everything is developing, and we don't know what future will bring to us. So in these times, the people need like an inner compass, So what is really important to us? And I think the Raunächte, they work with this, I would say, big super spirit, nature super spirit, a female spirit of cause and effect. So to see when I'm doing something, it has an effect, and which effects. So if a lot of people are living together, we need that, for a good social life. And so the Holle, she's like the big mother goddess of nature, and for the good, she gives good, and for the bad, she was punishing. And so it's like an inner compass how to do things or what is important. And so we see also this thinking about destiny. So what we are creating, how we think or how we feel, that's what we are doing. And this is creating reality, you know. And all these questions the people had in these times, and they are the roots of the Rauhnächte, Neolithic times. And I think that's why also today, because it's in a way similar, we also have elemental questions for future and how we are as humans, also in connection to the world or to others. And so the same question arises, and I think that's why these nights are getting more and more popular, and I would say 10 years before, just in our European countries, but less people are interested to celebrate this really. I mean, we have these Umzüge, these Pärchenumzüge, these festivals, but today it's different. It's more it's nourished with with thoughts, with feelings, and it's not just Brauchtum or folklore.
Yeah. Folklore,
So this field opens up, and I see that the people are really happy to celebrate these Raunächte also during a time where normally it's a time of consume, where you shop, and there's no inner connection to things. And that I think the people are searching this inner connection and Fülle. So
that's one that's hard to translate. Maybe Fini can help. My sister. Fullness, but also like a inner wealth. Maybe.
Yes, inner wealth, fullness. So to search this, to find this in ourselves, and the Raunächte help us to connect with this. And this is absolutely nourishing and full of healing and self-empowerment.
Yes. And if you watch part 1, then you can discover the German nuance of self-empowerment, that extra addition of honor that's in that word. So what you really mention is, so instead of, or what people, what maybe also causes some of the anxiety and disconnection and loneliness is you enter into the sacred time that is coming up soon. It's like a month away at the time of this interview. And it's all about shopping, what you should be doing, getting things done. It's very external. And then you have the folklore and the processions, carnival processions, or not carnival, but the Rauhnächte processions that are also a very external celebration, that at least in these lands would probably involve a lot of drinking too, not being sober. And again, external, but what we find, the trend or the energy of what these sacred times are bringing right now is people are really making it very personal, very internal, very much, even with their families also.
And everybody can do it. It's very easy. And that's great, I think.
Yes.
Just connect, just open up, find a space in nature or walking around, open your awareness, or sitting inside with a candle, connect to yourself. You don't need a lot of time for that. Just some moments or minutes a day, and you don't have to work every day. So just do it like you want, and think it's a great time. Also to be with ourselves and to have time for ourselves.
which also ties into, again, watch part 1, where you can become your own compass, your own trusted guide in life. I mean, that's also really this, what the Rauhnächte empowers us to do.
Yeah.
Because the space is open for everyone. And like you said, you can choose any medium and how you engage with it that works for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think it's such a great time because you can use the plants, you can smoke. So for grounding, you can take dandelion or rosemary, or for the heart, you can take the rose or hawthorn, or for light, I don't know the word in English, Johanniskraut.
Johannes. No, that's Johannes.
Then John's wort?
St. John's
I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, like that.
Yes.
And so you have different plants. Then you can connect to the moon energy in the night. You can make a connection to an ancestor. So for love or to a special totem, for soul empowerment. So all the fields of spiritual reality is open. And I think this is, a great time of the year.
Yeah, it's big.
Yeah.
Like I said, we said we could spend a whole day on this. But let's start with the first thing you mentioned. It's a huge element also of the locking nights that precede the Raunächte is working with plants.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you could talk a little bit about plant magic at this time, and perhaps when to collect the plants. I mean, it's fine also to sort, if you're late to this, to source them from a local herbalist. But this is a way to really tune into the magic of the land you are on.
Yeah.
Because the plants are very specific where you are. Your body knows the land knows your body. So you just mentioned a few plants for different purposes, but maybe you can share more about the tradition of working with plants at this time, the light energy that they still carry from when they were collected.
Yeah. Plants are very special. They are very special. I love them very much because they're connected and grounded to earth, and they are connected and grounded to the light. And so they show us also what we are, light beings and earth beings. And in the center, all these realities come together. And what I love also very much with plants is that they are, they smell. You can take it for smoke. You can take it as a tea. And so they join our life in our inner world and also from outside. And I'm collecting the plants during the summer times. The most important time we call Frauen-30er, so that means 30 days for the women, and it's the time from the 15th of August till the 15th of September. That's so 15th of August is Himmelfahrt Maria, and
Maria. What is? I don't know in English, but when Maria goes to heaven,
and the death of Maria on the 15th of September. So this is the traditional time to collect the plants, but I'm starting in shamanic. You start with the summer solstice,
summer solstice.
Because the sun is on the highest point, and that brings a lot of power for the flowers to really include this light powers, and so sometimes I'm going out in the mountains or just around here where I'm living and collecting then these plants. They have the time. So
So for next year, collecting your own plants can be an incredibly powerful practice. And again, like when you do it on the land you are living in, there's a whole different relationship than like, for cleansing, you mentioned rosemary. The tendency, right, for many of us to, what our culture kind of is almost telling us to do is go buy the white sage. But that's from a whole other tradition. And often it's not sourced in right relationship with, right? It's over harvested. So if you are late to this again, I emphasize go to a local herbalist or your local pharmacy, find local brands if you're going to buy the herbs, the plants for this time of year, if you're just starting that practice now. Now, another really big element of the Rauhnächte are the ancestors. And we are currently, this interview is happening in November, the month of the ancestors. But they stay present with us through that time of year as well, the Rauhnächte. So would you share more about the ancestors, how they can guide us, and why they're traditionally part of this practice?
Yeah. So the ancestors is, I would say, to work with the ancestors opens a field of love for us, for light, love, and personal empowerment, because our ancestors are, let's say, our spiritual roots, and they connect us also to our wisdom and gives us our spiritual gifts. They remind us to develop our spiritual gifts. And in shamanism, ancestors are not only, of course, parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, and the times before. It goes back till the beginning of mankind. So this means we all have our ancestors around the world, and these are roots of powers, wisdom, and light. We are connected. Special individual roots everybody has. And shamanism goes also beyond this. So also the animals and the plants are the great ancestors. And so that's a tracing back. I think it's absolutely great because we don't belong to our parents or great-grandparents. We all have a big field of ancestors, and they are connected through love with us. And this can support us in everyday life. And I think it's a great work. And it's, of course, traditional in November. We are working with the ancestors, but also in the Rauhnächte, because in the traditional meaning, the Seelchen, the ancestors, are part of the entourage of the Holle.
The souls.
The souls, yes. The death and the souls they would like to come, so everything. And so also in the Rauhnächte, we open the field for our ancestors. And they help us to see clearly. They help us to connect to our essence and to develop our spiritual gifts,
That's important. So it's both the ancestors that have already passed and the future ancestors coming in.
Yes.
So that's a powerful connection to make. You're really connecting into all the time before and the time to come.
Yes.
Yes. While choosing, and this is because you've all heard of the wild hunt that we know of, and it's, in popular media and shows, but that the wild hunt was in more ancient myth and tradition led by Frau Holle, the ancient goddess, and that it wasn't just the scary souls or the wild souls, but rather our ancestors, our future and past ancestors, and the children.
And it's all about the topic of Fruchtbarkeit.
Fertility.
Fertility in fertility in our mind, in our souls, and in our life. So open the field, and the ancestors, they bring in all these possibilities.
I'm getting chills. And it's not just for women, right? Because men also create and birth and bring things into the world.
Of course.
So there's like this very big open portal. And for those of you who've ever been close to birth, then you know, like there's all these strange synchronicities that end up happening with ancestors or names, or when someone died or was born, that there's like a way of it coming together. Yeah, so the time of birth, winter solstice, followed by the entourage that is always journeying through the Rauhnächte, and then also the choice we make in this liminal space. If we orient to good, to fertile, to life-giving, or to destructive, consuming ways. So there's a lot of responsibility there too.
And these times are also strong times for cleansing, and this is also great. We can leave the things behind we don't need anymore, and this opens the space for new powers and possibilities.
So we've got some big work. I hope you're feeling a lot of this magic, this profound wisdom. The well that lives inside of Annabelle is very deep. We're so grateful to have you today. Is there anything else you feel we should mention regarding the wild nights? Actually, there is.
What?
You've got an oracle deck coming out next year.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah. Yes, you're right.
Is it your art?
No, it's not my art. It's another artist, but I think it's great pictures. She did really great pictures, and it's about the medicine of the earth. And medicine means something that strengthens us. It gives us power and healing. So it's a very deep work, but also very inspiring. And so I hope this, will be a good support. Working in the Raunächte, also for the future, to the oracle and to see what's coming up.
Mm-hmm. And so you guided the images and the so if you want to connect with Annabelle's work, if you're not a German speaker, then this oracle deck coming out in 2025 would probably be the first step to do it, because images are universal. And you're also, for those of you who speak German, offering a seminar and a course on the Raunächte. You have a digital workbook that's coming out this year.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Because there's a physical workbook coming next year.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So those are some of the ways. We'll put the resources below the video. Yeah. Any final Raunächte words from you?
I would say just open for this absolutely magical time of the year and connect to the light, to your own inner light. That's all we need.
Yes. Remember, you can use any medium that feels right to you. This can be a minute, a day, and then you're already opening the field and creating the year ahead with intention. And while carrying the gifts of the year gone by forward. So, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And then we just have part 3. Make sure you also tune into that.